A natural disaster you may have never given much thought to could be deadly if you are not careful. Northern Nevada is an extremely active earthquake site that people need to be aware of. With more, here's Jake Klinger. If you've ever been at home and felt the ground moving beneath you, you may have experienced an earthquake. In fact, it's extremely likely you felt an earthquake at some point because Northern Nevada is one of the most active areas for earthquakes in the United States.
Reno is one of the most seismically active parts of the state of Nevada, so we have a high earthquake hazard here.
A network seismologist with Nevada's Seismological Laboratory, Kieran Bogelub, says that the region experiences tons of earthquakes every year, even though we may only feel a few.
There's thousands that happen in the state each year. Most of them are too small to feel. I would say there's probably between, on the scale of tens to hundreds, depending on the year, that people feel.
According to Bogelub, although Nevada's activity is still very high, we actually have had less activity this year compared to years past.
This year, it seems like about once a month there's been an earthquake that was big enough to be felt. In some years it could be much more though. It's actually been lower compared to past years. Part of the reason why is because we haven't really had one big earthquake. So when there's a bigger earthquake, you end up having a lot more earthquakes that happen after that. Those are called aftershocks. So because we haven't really had a major earthquake in Nevada this year, the overall number of earthquakes has been less than, say, last year, the year before.
While a lot of earthquakes are too small for us to even feel, some of them can do severe damage to buildings and be deadly for the people inside of them. Luckily at UNR, many of the buildings, like the one behind me, are built to support itself against the potential power of earthquakes.
A lot of these buildings were either constructed for or retrofitted pretty well for earthquakes, so all the brick that you see on the outside, normally a brick building would not be what you'd want in an earthquake, but these are actually just brick facades, so those aren't real bricks. So they look a little bit more sketchy, I guess, than they actually are. But yeah, the earthquake codes in the US are pretty good, and so most buildings either were built well with codes or have been retrofitted, especially out west.
If you ever find yourself inside of a building during an earthquake, Bogelub says it's crucial to do 3 things.
Drop, cover, and hold on, right? So you want to drop down on the ground, cover, usually getting under a piece of furniture that can protect you, like a table or a chair, and then hold on. The idea behind that is that you want to be able to, if a table is just above you and the ground starts shaking, it might shake the table away, so you want to be able to hold on to that furniture.
Though Reno's earthquake activity is high compared to the rest of the country, Bogelub says residents should not be worried, but should instead be prepared for any earthquakes that may happen in the future.
I don't necessarily want to use the word worry, but I would say it's good to prepare. Like I said, there's a lot of things just in your house. Don't hang a big heavy glass portrait above your bed or above your couch, right? Because those are places that you spend a lot of time, and so if there's an earthquake, it wouldn't take necessarily that much shaking to knock something like that off, so you don't want it to land on your head. Be careful about what you put on shelves. Anchoring your shelves to the wall can help. So I wouldn't say be worried, but I would say be prepared.
It's important to keep a safety kit for yourself and your loved ones in the case of an earthquake. It's always better to be safe rather than sorry. From Reno, I'm Jake Klinger.